Hey y'all, so this is the first video of 2020, a little garden update. As you can see, this broccoli's doing pretty well. I'll probably cut these first tops heads off soon. If you look down here, there's a lot more heads starting to form. This type of broccoli is not known for really big heads. It has lots and lots of small heads for stir fry. So once I chop off these top ones, I'm going to freeze that, and then I'll put more effort into these smaller ones, and I'll just keep harvesting as needed once they get about this size, and that way I'll have myself a good bag of frozen small heads that I can use for stir fry or something I really like, broccoli cheese casserole. The other ones here, the Desico hasn't started doing anything yet, but it's getting pretty good size. This is the one that's now produced bigger heads. It does well in heat. I don't know how well you can see it down there from the shadow, but it's already starting to produce its first head. Doing pretty good here on spinach. Romaine lettuce is starting to get good size. Now, all these bags. Yesterday was bulk trash pickup in our area. Ignore the upside down mopping bucket, please. But I went around and grabbed a whole bunch of bags of just dried, raked up leaves from off the curb before the bulk trash grabbed it. Actually, I had a whole lot more than this, but I've already used most of it. All this stuff is going to be crunched up and used for either mulch or compost. Compost bin here is starting to shrink down. It's about ready to be turned, and I might move it to a bucket and add more fresh leaves onto that. These are my barrels. Once the compost is about partly done, because it's mostly leaf mold, there's really not much else in it. It's leaf mold primarily. And here, you can see it's already breaking down more, because this barrel is absolutely full of worms. Compost worms. I'm not sure. Here we go. Well, there he is. This guy here. There's a whole bunch of these guys down in here, and they do an amazing job of breaking all this down. It's already getting finished. It's full of worm castings. By the time I'm ready to start planting in the spring, this will be fully usable and ready to go. What's in the bucket right now is going to go in this one here, which I threw some soil on top because what I put in underneath was actually fresh. It's actually deeper than I thought. I think they're already breaking it down pretty well. I can't find anything down here. I think the worms in this one have already really gone to work. Thicker soil. They've had more places to breed and more stuff to live in. So this is not a bucket of soil. This actually is compost down in there. It's really breaking down. It's what's called composting in place, sort of, where you bury the compost under the soil, and the worms really go to town on it. And on that note, here is the last of my raised beds. They are finished, finally. This is a 6x3, and this is my biggest one here at 8x3. This one, they look like they're all just basically full of leaves. That one actually is finished. The leaves are just mulch on top. This one is not done yet. All this stuff you see here, basically at the moment, this is just one gigantic compost bed. There is leaves, there is a bunch of grass clippings under there, and it's all mixed in together. There's some pepper plants. Apparently one of my neighbors also grew peppers in small containers, and the plants apparently did not do very well. 2 of them were really, really tiny and were still in those peat pots. You buy a plant in a peat pot, you better pull that thing off. It may say it's biodegradable, it'll break apart, but it's going to take a couple years before that thing breaks down, and it will choke out your plant's roots. So don't have to pull it all the way off. At the very least, just kind of tear it so that the roots can push through the tears and actually get out into the soil. Ugh, sorry for the allergies. So anyway, this is all basically just a giant compost pile. What I'm about to do is head over to my local Starbucks. Whenever I need coffee grounds, I have a 5-gallon bucket with my name and contact phone number written on it. I just drop it off there. they fill it up, and I go pick it up the next day. Usually they'll, some stores have the Grounds for Your Garden program where they just rebag it and slap the Grounds for Your Garden label on it. People can pick it up. Unfortunately, this store does not do that because I am the only one in this whole area who actually goes and gets coffee grounds for my garden. So there's really no point in them doing that if they're just going to throw it in the trash anyway, because nobody ever comes to pick it up. So this makes it easy. They don't have to worry about getting those labels. They don't have to waste trash bags. I just drop off the bucket, they fill it up, and I pick it up. You can probably go talk to the Starbucks in your area. If they have the pre-bagged grounds for your garden, go pick them up. Otherwise, talk to one of their managers and see if they can work out the same deal for you that I do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle the coffee grounds. Oh geez, my allergies are acting up. Ugh. I'm going to sprinkle the coffee grounds all over this, and then I'm going to top it off with my soil mixture. And what will happen is over the next few months, this will all break down. It'll stay moist. It'll be under the dirt. There will be worms just coming up all over the place, chowing down on all this. The ones down there, I actually kind of raked some of the soil away, and it's really starting to break down pretty well. The worms are doing an amazing job getting all this broken down. So, I'll show you this here. You see how these bags are just ripped? They're all ripped open. I did not do this. This was actually like this at the store. Sometimes you'll go to Home Depot or Lowe's or another big box store, and you'll find bags just sitting aside that have been ripped open. Because this plastic for these bags is really cheap, really thin. They rip open so easily. And most people refuse to buy that because if the bag rips open, it'll dry out, some of the stuff will fall out, and most people just don't want to deal with that. So if you talk to any of their employees there, especially in the garden center, they'll usually sell you these ripped bags as is, 50% off. I mean, there's almost nothing missing out of this. These are almost completely full, and yet I got these for half off. You can use them to fill in the bottom of your raised garden beds, use them as a filler underneath your higher quality mixes. Sometimes you can find a higher quality mix that are ripped up. Just kind of look around. I found a big bag of some of the higher priced, higher quality stuff that's got a lot of peat moss mixed in, and I got that for half off. A lot of times what I do is I just buy this to fill in holes in the yard, because after many years of neglect, this yard doesn't have really hardly any topsoil, and a lot of it's just washed away. So I'm going to be collecting this not only... Well, these 3 bags are going to cover those leaves, and I'm going to put better stuff on top of them. But I'm going to be just kind of collecting these and using them to fill in holes in the yard. And any of these bags that do not go for compost or mulch in the garden beds, they'll be the same thing. They'll just be poured straight down on the ground and used as mulch to help build up the soil quality and the soil level here in the yard. I'm going to be doing this every fall. I won't be building any more raised beds, but I'll be collecting just bunches and bunches of bags of leaves and just dumping them out here in this back section where it's too shady for really any grass to grow. Get almost full shade from the tree, maybe about 2 or 3 hours a day of actual light, and just let it build up. This little corner here where the fountain is, fill all that in with mulch, let it build up, and then because I've got such a huge amount of it, I'm going to compost as much as possible, far more than I can use in the garden. And I'll just be feeding the yard, the actual grass area, with compost. And that will slowly build up the quality. I'll have better grass, I'll have a better yard, and of course, a better garden. So if you even if you don't garden, if you just need to build up your lawn, just compost. Just get a 30-gallon, $20 trash bucket from Walmart. Fill it up with dead leaves, put some coffee grounds in, get some water in it to soak it. Not too much, you want it wet, you don't want it like sitting in water. And just let it break down and turn into leaf mold after about a year, and then the following year, use it to feed your lawn. And it'll just get better and better, and the best part, it's free. So here's the garden. It kind of needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But you can see my fall plants sitting on top, raised up so they can get more sunlight. 3x3 for the tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, smaller determinate and semi-determinate tomatoes. Right now the garlic and carrots are sitting on top of it. Melons with the melon trellis. This one with the strawberries and green onions is going to be tomatillos. This massive bed here is going to be my sweet peppers. Dad and I absolutely love sweet peppers. We saute them, we pickle them, we roast them, we stuff them, we make sauces out of them. We just eat them, all sorts of them. And then this one here, same thing, it's going to be my spicy peppers. Again, we do all sorts of stuff with them. Cook them, saute them, pickle them. And so this is going to be for the hot peppers. So that's the full garden bed, that's the walkthrough, and that's a bit of gardening advice. All right, bye.